There's a time for you to think about getting vaccinated, getting the flu vaccine. And the warning this morning is from Diabetes Australia that for those people suffering diabetes, they really need to get vaccinated. Professor Greg Johnson is the CEO. Good morning.
Good morning, Stuart.
How important is it for diabetics to get the jab?
Look, it's very, very important. As you said, last year was a horror flu season, and hopefully this year won't be as bad. But what people don't realise, many people don't realise, is if you've got diabetes, then the risk of the flu is much greater. So if there's a triple effect here. People with diabetes can be more likely to get the flu. If they get it, people with diabetes are much more likely to end up in hospital than people who don't have diabetes. And unfortunately, if they end up in hospital, they're more likely to have serious complications of the flu and possibly die. So, it's a very serious issue. The good news, and there is good news, is this year we have a new enhanced, if you like, special vaccine for people aged 65 and over.
Greg, can I just go back to we'll talk about the vaccine, but what are the reasons why diabetics are more prone to the flu and maybe more vulnerable to actually getting sicker from the flu? Is there any physiological reason there?
Yeah, it's linked to do with what diabetes is about. So diabetes often has an immune system involvement in the diabetes, and also if you have diabetes, then your body just cells in the body may not be working normally, may not be able to fight the viruses and the infection in the same way. So diabetes has complex effects on cells in our body because it affects glucose metabolism and the functioning of our bodies.
So more compromised in that way.
That's right. But the key thing is that there's strong evidence that people with diabetes, if they get the flu, having the flu can mess up your diabetes management, can make you quite sick with your diabetes, and the combination of all of those things means you're more likely to end up in hospital, you're more likely to have a really severe implications of the flu. I think the big area that we're concerned about is older people, where age is a risk factor for everything. So as we get older, our bodies generally don't work as well. Our immune system may not work as well. The combination of being an older person and having diabetes is a really serious problem for the flu. So that's where the focus is this year with this. We want, obviously, everyone with diabetes, and not just the people with diabetes, but everyone around them, their family members, their carers, people who might be in contact with a person with diabetes every day, co-workers. It's important that everyone gets a flu jab because the herd immunity protects everyone. But if you're older, over 65, there's a special new vaccine for that group this year that wasn't available last year. Go and talk to your GP, talk to your diabetes health professional or your pharmacist about this new vaccine. Now's the time to get immunised, the more people who get immunised, the better our whole community is.
Go back to last year's flu season. Why was it so bad?
Look, I'm not a flu expert, I think there are a number of factors. I mean, we do know that unfortunately people have been taking the flu for granted a bit, and we forget that influenza is a very serious thing and can kill people. Last year,
1,000 people.
1,000 people died, and last year 250,000 people were seriously impacted by the flu in Australia.
And I can tell you, I was one of those.
Yeah, look, we've seen this, cyclically. Every so often you'll get a very bad flu season, and the virus changes. It's not the same virus all of the time, so there's a whole lot of complex things here. But, what we do have strong evidence about and what we strongly encourage is everyone with diabetes and everyone around them, their family and their carers and people who care about them, should all have a flu shot this year because that's going to help protect everyone.
I think as the stats show, you're 92% more likely to die if you're hospitalised with diabetes and the flu. That's a pretty dire statistic.
It is. It's very high, and it reflects the fact that if you end up in hospital, it's likely that you've not only got severe flu, but you've got severe, your diabetes might be severely affected, and you might have other medical problems linked to your diabetes, and the combination of those things can mean higher death rates. So this is very serious, and we don't want to scare people. The good news, and there is very good news, is there's this new special vaccine for 65 and older, and everyone should have a flu shot. But older people in particular should go and ask for this special new vaccine for people aged over 65.
Yeah, well, that sounds like very good information. And I'll be making sure I get my flu shot as well, because I don't really want to have those 5 days again. So fingers crossed. Is it that I know you're not a flu expert, Greg Johnson, but I did hear that they're calling our flu in the Northern Hemisphere during their flu season, calling it the Australian flu.
Yes. Yeah, I have heard that. Although there's a bit of a professional debate that no one really knows which one follows, and the north follows the south or the south and the north. I think, that, as I said before, one of the big challenges about influenza is that the virus constantly mutates and changes, and the flu strain. There are different viruses and different flu strains, but the experts. Right around the world, this is not a problem unique to Australia. This new vaccine that's now available in Australia, and the Australian government should be given credit here for acting quickly in response to last year and making this new vaccine available. It's only available in a few countries. So we're very fortunate in Australia to have this new vaccine this year for older people. I think it's only available in 2 or 3 countries, in the USA and Canada and Australia, but not everywhere. That's a really good thing. It's free. So get out there and get the benefit of it. And
very important given, say, the Northern Territory with a high Indigenous population and the high levels of diabetes in the population as well, but make it doubly so to get that immunisation.
Yes, that's, according to our figures, there's probably, around 4,000 people with diabetes in the Alice Springs and surrounding areas.
Wow.
And over 1,000 of those people would be aged over 65. So a large number of people in your community there, of Alice Springs and surrounding areas. And all those people should obviously go and get the immunisation. That's right. Hey, Greg, thank you so much. Thank you. Professor Greg Johnson, CEO of Diabetes Australia.